required for research. Today, I take this opportunity to introduce today's guest, Honorable Shamal Chinke sir. He has completed his MSc in Electronic Science from Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune, with outstanding grade. He cleared NET, GATE, and SET while pursuing MSc. He is recipient of DRDO, DRF, and SRF for PhD. Now he is working for PhD at DRDO DIET. He has 4 years of industrial research experience in IBM India Private Limited and Whirlpool of India Limited as a design engineer. He has published 10 research papers in reputed international journals. Presently, he is working as an assistant professor in Department of Electronic Science, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, since last 2 years. Today, he is talking on the topic preparation and publication of research paper. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of SM Joshi College and all the participants. Our principal, Honorable Dr. Khilare CJ, will deliver inaugural speech of this workshop. I am honored to introduce him. Principal Dr. Khilare sir completed his MSc PhD from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He has published more than 50 research papers in reputed journals. He is PhD guide in botany under Shivaji University. 3 students are awarded PhD under his supervision. He has remained Dean, Faculty of Science, Shivaji University, and started many innovative programs in science stream. He has been working on many committees of University, Raj Shikshan Sanstha, and government bodies. With this short, brief introduction of today's guest and speaker, again I welcome you all in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now may I request inaugural speaker, Honorable Principal Dr. Chandrakant Khilare Sahib, to deliver inaugural speech.
Good evening to all. Honorable Dr. Chinke sir, he is from Department of Electronics of Savitribai Phule Pune University. The member of Research Committee, Dr. Sawant Madam, Professor Bhagwat, the Vice Principal of our college, Dr. M.L. Dongre sir, Dr. Zare sir, the fellow teachers, and dear PG students. I am most delighted to be with you at this in the afternoon in the inaugural session of a 5-day workshop on research methodology. Dear friends, I have an extraordinary feelings to be involved in this workshop. The development of any nation is depend upon the research output of that country. Dear friends, the workshop is a part of the capacity building program of SM Joshi College, Hadapsar, to improve the quality of higher education research. Identification of any problem, research problem, work is the central guiding principles that will affect the overall quality of research work to be carried out in that institutes. Such workshops on research methodology is a good initiative by the research cell of SM Joshi College, which provides a platform to the budding researchers, the faculty members, and the PG students who are involved in this workshop by the interaction with the resource person and to share their ideas through the research projects and the proposals. The themes which are incorporated in this 5-day research methodology is the preparation and publication of research paper, use of ICT and software in research, the scientific writing, the project report writing, and preparation of synopsis. So all these 5 things which are related with the research. You know that the all disciplines, including science and technology of Government of India has played a very decisive role in the overall development of the mankind. Scientific discoveries has played a pivotal role in our lives. It is well known that there is a direct relationship between the prosperity of any nation and the number of PhDs that nation produces per millions of the population. It has been said that there is no wonder that in Germany, 80% of chemist graduates are PhD holders. We in India need to increase our output from 8,000 to 35,000 of PhDs per year. We know how the FIST program of Department of Science and Technology of Government of India is going to support the research in universities and colleges. However, it is important to recognize that money or infrastructure is alone does not guarantee the quality research. We need the right vibrant atmosphere, congenial and ambience and high quality leadership is required for the fruitful research. Recently, it has been found that the University Grants Commission, the DSC, Department of Science and Technology, the Department of Biotechnology, they have been given so many research funds to various universities and colleges. The colleges already received some support from UGC in different plans, that is the 10th plan, the 11th plan and 12th plan. There are some other schemes which are launched by Government of India, the Science and Technology Department. The STRIDE is there, the SERB is there, as well as DBT is going to provide the Star College status to the colleges for the increase in infrastructure at grant. Some another ministry like Ministry of Environment and Forest is also providing such some projects to various faculties who are working in colleges. In research, we need to remind ourselves that our competition is global. It is not the regional or national, and no excuses are tolerable. It has been seen that research requires a different kinds of initiative and leadership, and the combination of UG and PG. Therefore, doctoral work has an unbelievable efficacy. It is our job, at least in part, to inspire young persons to take up the noble profession of teaching and research. Dear participants, the knowledge that you have acquired during these 5 days will only have significance if it is utilized for the well-being of society. Research design is tentative. It can be modified. Observation means the conscious sensing, making us of all the senses. Never engage in academic fraud, in plagiarism, and no subject of research should be harmed. So this is our duty to take the precaution regarding while doing any kind of research in the institutions. Hypothesis may be really enchanting. So I sincerely hope that with the knowledge you possess through this workshop, you will not only set high standard for society, but will also play an important role in eradication of some social evils and create awareness among the people, and thus work towards the emancipation of the society. Once again, I extend my hearty congratulations and good wishes to the research cell of SM Joshi College, Hadapsar, as well as I also extend my warm wishes to you all. I'm thankful to today's resource person, Dr. Chenele. He is the expert for today's talk, for accepting our invitation. Sir, I'm very much thankful to you, and I welcome you all in this workshop, which is organized by Research Cell of SM Joshi College, Hadapsar. Once again, I am very much thankful to one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, may I request today's resource person, Honorable Chinke sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronic Science, Pune University, Pune. Dr. Honorable Chinke Shamal sir.
That is it, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Namaste.
Yes.
Very good afternoon to all of you. And I'm very thankful to Principal Khilare sir, Samant madam, Dongre madam for giving me opportunity to talk about the research publication and related things. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I will start my presentation. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah.
Is my screen is visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I would be moreover today the content that I will be discussing in my today's presentation, that would be moreover towards the practical approach, different things that we have to carry out while doing our research. So I'll be discussing about the things step by step. So outline of my today's presentation is about when we want to start our research, we have to first of all identify the problem. So I'll be discussing about identification of the research problem, then followed by how to carry out extensive literature survey. So in order to identify the problem, we have to carry out an extensive literature survey, gathering various resources to carry out the research. So several research, there are different fields like in the field of related to the humanities and social sciences, and in the field of science, we need certain resources to carry out the research. So I'll be talking about how to gather such resources, also preparation of the manuscript, formatting of the manuscript, then similarity check, how one can go ahead and check the similarity or plagiarism of the manuscript before communication. Then we can, then I will be discussing about where to publish, like how to identify the right journal for the publication. So these all things I'll be discussing in practical approach. I'll be sharing some of the stuff which will help us to understand this in better format. Now, identification of the problem. So while identifying the problem, one has to see about, one has to carry out an extensive literature survey to check various research papers and PhD theses and different things where one can identify what is the current status, what is the current research in the particular field, and then one has to find out the research gaps. Another way is that one can have an innovative thinking. One can think about innovative, one can be innovative enough to go ahead and have a new idea to work with. Secondly, one can have a solution of the real life problems. So as madam has told about the COVID pandemic situation, so the situation was such that one need to have a vaccine, one need to develop that particular vaccine. So need is one of the important source of starting of the research. Then with interest and exploring in one field. Sometimes what happens with our interest, we explore a certain field at a very high depth, and thereby we come across various problems. So like in our department, a lot of work is carried out related to the space applications. Our department is one of the pioneer department in development of sensors for the ISRO. Some of the sensors have been used in Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan missions as well. Further, while realizing the product as per the market demands from the client, sometimes there is a demand from the client and we have to satisfy that demand. For that, we have to innovate, we have to make that particular product. So that is also a kind of research. Now, how one can go ahead and find out all these things? One can go ahead and get an innovative idea. So one of the ways is accessing the patents. Now, quickly, I will show you that we have so many years or the times that we have heard about patents, but mostly we don't access the patent, we don't check the patents. So I'll be showing, this is the particular link I have given. So I'll be showing how one can access the patents. So this is basically WIPO website. WIPO is World's Intellectual Property Organization. So I'll be showing how one can go ahead and access a patent. in his or her respective field. So this is the WIPO portal for the patents. So here we can go ahead and do the search. We have to click on the patent scope. And once we come on the patent scope, we can go ahead and carry out the search. So it is just loading. I think there was some problem with the browser. So quickly, I'll just copy the link, the said link, and I'll open in Google Chrome. Yeah, here we go. This is now open to us. Okay, it is just asking me to check whether the same link. Okay, there is some small problem with this. It is not allowing to go the website, but you can access this website and you can go and open the patent scope. So after opening this patent scope, basically, you can search for your just a second. You can search for your respective field. Suppose I am working in BLDC motor related field. So I will search on the BLDC motor. Then you will get relevant patents get listed over there. And when you click on the patent, you have you get an access to download the entire patent. So once you download the patent, you get the full access of the patent. What are the claims in the patent? What is the concern diagram or circuit diagram or whatever the block diagram, how is it working and so on. So all recent details. So see, patents are something which are very important. So a lot of patents are filed every year, and India is lagging in filing patents because a lot of innovative things and other things are developed in India, but people don't file patents. So one can go ahead and access the patent, one can understand how the patent formatting is done, and may in future one can go for filing a patent. Okay. Another way is that you can go ahead with the good journal website. Okay. And you can check about the recent publications. So this is like, now I am showing about the sciencedirect.com. Okay. Elsewhere. So here, if you see, this is about the recent, you can see self-healing composite materials. So this is basically a book. So most of the things, what happens is that a lot of new work comes. So it comes in the form of research paper as well as some books. So these books are different than traditionally available books in the market. So these books are as per the recent trends. Now this book is published in 2019. So that is relating with the self-healing aspect of the composite material. Just like our body, if there is a scratch on the body, the blood starts coming, and after some time it gets automatically healed. Such a kind of phenomena is observed in materials as well. So development of such material and these properties. So this is like newer topic. So for such newer topic, sometimes we find some good books of the reputed publishing houses as well as research papers as well. So we can go ahead and search them, and we can go ahead and read these particular books. This is one of the way. Another way is about the Scopus website. So I'll just open the website for you. Yeah, it is open. Yes. Now see, this is the Scopus website. Here you can go ahead and create your own registration. You can create your own account. You can search research papers in your allied area. and some which the research papers which are free for download, open access, you can download from this side as well. So this is a very important side because most of the journals are indexed in Scopus. So you can get a huge database here and a lot of papers you can get to read, and also you can sort them with year and publication city or the state as well. So by that, what happens is that you can able to locate the people in your nearby areas, those are working in your domain. So this is also another way to find out about the recent literature or recent research work which is carried out by others. Another way is about Google Scholar and ResearchGate portals. So these portals are mostly well known to you. You must have already accessed these portals. So I'll not be going through them in detail. However, there is another important thing about the sometimes a student come to you and ask that, sir, please give me some new research problem. So framing a research problem, we have to understand, we have to think about the different aspects. So, but if we refer to the PhD thesis of the completed PhD students from reputed institutes like Imperial College London, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston, and also like HBNI, Homi Bhabha National Institute, IITs, NITs, and so on. So we get a lot of idea about what kind of work they are carrying out, what facilities they are using, and also we are able to get the future scope detail, because every research scholar writes about the future scope in his PhD thesis. So we see that there are some research gaps in that we can access. So I will quickly share about our Homi Bhabha National Institute, HBNI, which is a central government affiliated institute. So if you see that the PhD thesis of all the candidates, those who have completed PhD from HBNI, are listed over here. You can see chemical sciences, physical sciences, etc. You can see, and you can download on a single click. You can download the PhD thesis. You see the download option has came. Now it is getting downloaded, and you can open. So you see that the PhD thesis of the student Pintu Kundu has been downloaded. Okay. So like this, one can go ahead and go through the entire details of the work, what he has carried out, also the future scope of the work. So this way, this is also another easy way to access the recent research and the allied activities. Because PhD thesis also allows you to know about the different facilities which are being available at that particular research center. Another thing is that accessing reputed publishers portal directly. Now, there are reputed publishing houses such as Elsewhere, then we have Springer Nature, then we have IOP, Indian Institute of Physics, and so on. In different domains, different publishers are there. Taylor and Francis is there. So we can directly access the portal of the website of the particular journals, recent journal. Now, this is about a journal. I'm just showing an example about Elsewhere's Materials, Chemistry, and Physics journal. Now, what about the recent works? So if we go ahead down here, we see the recent articles. So these are just accepted articles. Maybe if you see about this tantalum thing, this is just if you see the details here, this has been accepted on 23rd June. I think today we are on the 1st of July. But if you see that just 1 week back, this paper got published. So we can go ahead and access this recent research to get the ideas. Okay, we can go ahead and access this accepted manuscripts, what work they have done. We can go through it. See, this is a fully open access journal. So all details are available here. And this is also having impact factor 3.5. So such good journals are available, and I think we need to explore them. Okay. So this is about accessing the different resources, means carrying out literature survey. So one of the important thing is that we have referred 10, 15, 20 papers. So if we make a habit of summarizing the part of the research paper that we have read in our own language, if we read 20 odd papers and if we have summarized the content, what we have studied or what we have gained or what we have acquired by reading those, carrying out that literature survey of those papers, then we can, if we have written that in our own language, we are in position to write and communicate a review article. So when we carry out extensive literature survey around 20 odd papers or 30 papers and so, we are in a position really to write down a review article. Most of the journals accept review articles as well, if the review articles quality is good. So where to communicate, how to publish, that things I'll be showing out in the subsequent slide. But one thing is that at the very beginning of your research work, you are in position to go ahead and write one manuscript, one research paper and communicate. You may start with review article, not necessarily you should have fully experimental data and other things to go for. Next, about gathering resources and carry out the research. So this is a very important thing about gathering resources and carrying out the research. One of the important thing about getting the resources is that if we have our own funds, we can, our own funds means we can bring a projects from DRDO, ISRO, then DST, DBT, CSIR, UGC, different funding agencies are there. They have various schemes for getting the funding for the research projects. So we can write a proposal and submit and we can get funding. That is applicable for faculties, but not for, there are very few schemes for the students, but mostly these schemes are for the faculties. Now, there are some schemes for the student as well. So like those who has completed PhD and all, they can apply for DST Inspire faculty and allied funding schemes as well. Now, finding the right resource person and for research guidance. So this is a very important thing because having a right guidance while pursuing research is very important to lead our research in a particular direction, to troubleshoot with the upcoming problems and whatever the problem occurs in the research and all. We need to identify some resource person or the research guide under whose guidance we can work. So this is an important thing for the students as well, because what happens, the research guides experience adds to your knowledge and then you can improve with your studies. Further is locating and getting access to the research facilities. This is the very important thing. Most of the people, those who are working in science domain, in affiliated colleges and other things, sometimes sometimes they are lagging in the facilities. Sometimes research facilities are little less, so they can go ahead and approach to the university. So what we have, what is available with the most of the institute is that they have a central instrumentation facility. In Pune University also we have a central instrumentation facility where most of the research related facilities are extended to the college students as well as college faculty, as well as the even to the general public also, on very small or very less charge or less payment basis, because hardly they charge for the charge associated with the maintenance of the equipment and maybe for the honorarium of the operating person. So they are not very chargeable, they are not very costly. One can explore these facilities at the central instrumentation facilities, be it at the Pune University or maybe IISER or some other IITs and all. So everywhere these facilities are there. So these are on paid basis. You need to pay some small amount there. But if you consider like UGC DAE CSR, which is a CSIR establishment. So I will just open the website of that establishment for your knowledge. So this is the website of the UGC DAE CSR for scientific research. So here, all the characterization are carried out for free of cost. They have Raman spectroscopy, they have magnetic measurements, they have UV, FTIR, XRD, all facilities are available with them. Now, how to access the facilities? You have to fill up the form. Here you can see user form. You can download the form. You can fill up the form, take the signature of your research guide, and you can re-upload the form to them. and then they will give you appointment to come when you can carry out your characterizations or related things. So most of the things, what happens that here, what happens, we have to run everywhere for one or the other facility. At one place we get XRD, sometimes we have to go for the ACM at some other place, IR spectroscopy sometimes we do at some other place. So that thing happens to you. But here, if you see, it is one stock solution. So if you mention in your form that what all things you need to carry out, you can do at one place. So, but you have to go there for once, and you can get your characterization done from there, and you can come back. They also reimburse for your TAD as well. Whatever like transportation expenses occurs, they reimburse for that as well. So this is a very nice initiative which is taken by the BARC and UGC and Department of Atomic Energy. So I think you people can explore this facility, because I myself have used this facility during my PhD. I have got free of cost characterizations done there, and also they have paid me the TADA as well. The expenses which were incurred for my transportation, they have refunded that amount to me as well. So I think you can explore this. Then it is not like that if you don't have the funding, you cannot carry out the research. If you don't have the facilities, you cannot carry out the research. That is not actually the case, because I myself have experienced this thing that when I was student at DIIT, I was a PhD scholar in DRDO. I'm a PhD. I'm about to finish my PhD there. But when I need a facility which was not available with me, I've contacted the persons which are working in different national laboratories. I've contacted JNCSR to Chandrabas Narayana. I wrote a mail to him that I want these things done at your facility, because they were having temperature dependent Raman facility, which was not available with at my place. So I requested him, he allowed me to come and perform the experiments. I've carried out the experiments and came back. So see, all the facilities which are available in the research institutes and all, they are government facilities. It is not somebody's own facilities. They are the government facilities, and they are available on request to everybody to come and use and take the benefit. So it is not the case. Don't feel that we don't have facilities, so we may not be able to do much of the things. But still, it is possible. You can carry out the research. You can get help and assistance for the facilities. Another thing is that you can collaborate with the people. So collaboration is really a good activity. So when you work, if you are working in a similar field and you are having some allied different problems, so you can collaborate with that faculty member and you can carry out your research in more easy way. About preparing the manuscript. So this is an important thing that we should see. While preparing the manuscript, we have to think about the different ways. There are different softwares and ways which are used for writing the manuscript. One can go ahead and use MS Word template, or one can go for the LaTeX template. So LaTeX is also available for the download. You can, I'll just show the website to you. Sorry. I think it is getting open. Yeah. So this is a document preparation system, which is the LaTeX. You can download this. You can learn how to use. You can see different YouTube tutorials, and you can understand how you can go ahead and make use of this particular software to write down your scientific research articles and so on. So this is a useful tool that you can try out. Another thing is that simplest way is that you can use Microsoft Word and you can write down your manuscript. Now, about the manuscript, this is also one of the important thing, the abstract. So whenever we send our manuscript to any journal, first of all, they see our abstract. So I just like to show you one of my recent communications. Yeah. So is it visible to you all? I think the screen would be visible. Diamond and related materials. So if you see here, this is the recent work that I have carried out that is related to blast mitigation properties of porous nanocarbon. So in this, if you see that this I have communicated to diamond and related materials, the journal. And if you see that on the first page only we have the abstract. So it is very important because primarily editor goes through your abstract. First of all, they read your abstract. If they find your abstract is interesting, then they go further into your manuscripts. So it is very important that to write the abstract of your paper. So in abstract, what things are supposed to come? The first thing, like I'm mainly from science stream, so I will just I will talk about one small activity related thing. So if you see the abstract thing, so abstract thing in the first particular, you can have somewhere like your abstract may range up to around like 150 words or so. So thereby, first particular 3-4 lines, you can write about the introduction and need about your work. Okay. Next 3 to 4 lines, you can talk about the how you have carried out the work. And remaining 3 to 4 lines, you can talk about the major outcome of your work. So in this fashion, you can make your small, compact, and useful abstract, which can be easily catch the attraction of the people. So one has to see for this abstract. Now this abstract is in Word format, but nowadays most of the journals they encourage you to submit the graphical abstract. I will show you some of the graphical abstract. Now this is the graphical abstract that I have prepared about this particular work. So this graphical abstract, if you see, it shows clearly what work I have done. So shock waves are coming from this side, and this is the porous nanocarbon system that I'm using. And after that, you see the shock waves have been damped. The amplitude has been decreased. They are about to die. So this particular nanocarbon systems this I have developed that is used for shock absorption, blast mitigation. So these are the applications. So if you see my graphical abstract clearly shows the phenomena. Then what happens to the mechanical properties, stress and strain, then pressure versus the shock velocity and pressure versus volume. Some graphs I have shown. So this is how you can prepare your graphical abstract. So just a second. So this is the one way. Another thing is that why I'm showing you the graphical abstract, because the graphical abstract is something which the editor also sees at the very beginning. Now this is also one of my publication wherein about the graphene-like nanoflex for shock absorption application. So here you see that this is the graphical abstract that I have prepared. Graphene-like nanoflex used for shock absorption. You can see I have shown the shock absorbers besides it. So this is very simple. I have prepared this graphical abstract using this Microsoft PowerPoint. I've used simple PowerPoint to make this graphical abstract. So you can also prepare a graphical abstract for your work, which will best describe your work. So that work can catch an attention of the people. Okay, so it is always recommended that if you submit your abstract in written as well as graphical format, it is considered well. Another thing about the keywords. So these are the very important words. See, just mostly what happens, we write our entire manuscript and suddenly at the time of submission, we go and choose some words, we write some keywords. But that should not be the case. We should go ahead and think that what is the important phenomena that we are discussing, what people will search, because as per your keywords, what you write your your manuscripts appears in the search. So if you write good keywords, there is a higher possibility of getting more citations to your work. So it is very important to select the title of the manuscript as well as the keywords of the manuscript, because these things are bullet points or important things which people search, and then thus on the basis of search your manuscript appears. Okay, so one need to be very careful about the selecting the keywords. Just I would like to give one example about the keyword selection. Now here I will search about graphene shock absorption. So if you see that ultimately when I search about graphene shock absorption, my manuscript has appeared first. Graphene like nanoflex for shock absorption application. Because I have put right keywords, I have put right title. So the person, those who wants to work in graphene related material related to shock, they will see my work. And you see within no time, this manuscript got 10 citations. So it depends on you that how you select the title of the manuscript as well as the keywords which are there in your manuscript. Now similarly you have to go with the introduction. So in introduction you have to comment about the different comment about the literature, extensive literature survey that you have carried out, then the need of your work. Okay, and then maybe at the last paragraph of your introduction you can talk about what work you have done in the paper. So just I would like to show one of my manuscript simply. So if you see that, just to give an idea, yeah, so this is about the introduction. I have spent one paragraph for discussing about the blast and related phenomena. Okay, another paragraph about the different work which is carried out by the people. Okay, and if you see here towards the last paragraph, if you see, I have talked about my work. Here I have talked about my work. Here most of these reports are theoretical, which provide a clue about the new experimentation. Hence we have investigated the blast mitigation properties of porous nanocarbon experimentally using this technique, and then I have commented about some of my work, because it should be in continuation phase. It should not happen that your introduction is ending at some other point and you are starting the experimental section in a different way. So one should see manuscript should be connected, it should be well connected, so that what can happen is that the reader will be able to understand the flow of the work. So one has to see about the introductory part. That introductory part should be well connected to the next section. Sometimes some journal offers the experimentation section to be given towards the last. Generally this happens in the case of American Chemical Society. If you see some of their journals which are having higher impact factor, like ACS Nano, then we have ACS Omega, then ACS Sensors and all. So there they ask you to write about the experimental part towards the end of the manuscript after writing the conclusion sometimes. So it depends on to the journal to journal, it varies with the journal. Then we have to comment about the results and discussion. We have to talk about the result and discussion in depth about the work that we have carried out. Then about references. So today I will show you how simply and easily you can add the references. So this is the website. This is a free website. Cite this for me. it is an important thing. After writing manuscript, when we are writing manuscript, we have to do the citation, we have to do the references. So how we can do the references, I will show you just in a simple way. Now here this website is opening. Generally what happens, every journal has its own style. Some journals follow Vancouver kind of style. Some journal follow different kind of referencing. So if you click here, this particular website allows you to cite your to do the referencing by all types of the accepted journals. Now if you see here, when you see here, there are various styles of referencing. One is Harvard style, or you can check whatever style is accepted or whatever style is asked by the journal. If you see, these are the different journals as well. So some, like now advanced engineering materials. So every journal, some journals are having the advanced materials and all, they have their own styles. So we have to make our references also proper. If our references are not in line, then they tell us to update the references in a proper style and all. So instead of that, if our manuscript at the initial stage only, if it is in a proper referencing format, it is always useful. Now this is the Vancouver style. Around 90% of the Elsevier journals, they follow this Vancouver style. Now I have set it to the Vancouver style. Okay, now I will show you how you can add a reference. Okay, suppose I want to add a reference of my own of some paper. Suppose let me call it as like BLDC motor research IEEE. So now if you see, this is opening. Okay, now this is the paper. Suppose this is open. Now if I want to cite this paper, if I want to prepare the citation of this, I need not to keep on typing this particular thing. This can be done automatically. How? You just have to copy paste the web link here, or you can copy paste this title of the paper. Any one of this will do. Okay, I will first of all show you with the title or with the web link. Web link I am copying. Okay, I have copied the web link. Okay, I have went into my this Cite This For Me web page. I have clicked on add new reference. Now what kind of reference it is? It is website, journal, book, or more. So this is a journal paper. So I will click on journal. Okay, then here you see that they ask you to write down the D. You can paste in here DOI, title, or the web link. Now I'm pressing the web link here. Okay, and I'm hitting search. So you see that the IEEE Explore version has came. If you see that this is about the speed control of BLDC motor. Okay, just a second. L Griffith. No, this is came different. So I will paste. Sometimes this happen. Rarely this happens actually. So if I copy this, if I copy the title, okay, and here I am pressing the title in this as it is. Okay. Now you see the speed control of brushless DC motor has came. I just have to hit cite. If I hit continue, it will come. It will come with the list of authors. And if I make it complete citation here, you can see the citation is now available here for our use. I have copied the citation, and now suppose I can use my Word here. This is a Word I'm opening. This I have copied the citation, and I can just punch in the citation. Now you can see that the citation has escaped. with the volume and other details. So similarly, you can do the citations with this cite this for me. This is a freeware. You can, this is a free website you can make use of. This is very useful because when we are preparing our references, our all things should be in the same style. Now see, I have myself also my paper I have also cited using this. You can see here, I'm just copying the citation now. I am pasting it, suppose here. So like this, the author's name, then title of the manuscript, journal, then year, then volume and page number. All thing gets cited properly. So you can try out this. This is a good thing that you can make use of. Okay, just a second. So this is you can use. So in the manuscript, when there are more than one authors, more than one author, one should mention about the author's contribution. Because what happens sometimes, some journals they do have the flexibility to they do ask for the author's contribution. So you have to mention about the author's contribution. What work is done by whom? Suppose there are 3 authors. One of the author has synthesized the material, other author has evaluated it for some application, and the third author has helped in understanding or revealing the science or physics out of it. So like that, one can have different contribution for different authors. So it is good to declare the author's contribution, because what happens when the students applies for PhD abroad, that time the published papers are scrutinized by the foreign university. So they check about the author's contribution. You have published the manuscript, you have published suppose 2 papers or 3 papers, but what was your contribution in that papers? In order to have that reflected, it is advisable to mention about the author's contribution in the towards the end of the manuscript after the references. So I would like to show about this author's contribution, how generally, like journal like American Chemical Society and all, they specifically demands for this author's contribution. You see here, this is an ACS Applied Nanomaterials journal. So towards the end here, you can see here after the conclusion, here associated content and author's information, then author's contribution. So here you see that SLC and PSA contributed equally. So detailed contribution is also discussed here. So it is also recommended that one should mention about the contributions. Okay, then again the part comes with the acknowledgement. So you have to acknowledge for the people whose help you have taken while working, while carrying out the work. Also, you need to acknowledge for the funding. If you have used some funds for carrying out the research, so you need to acknowledge them. Like if you have used the facility of UGC DA CSR to carry out the free characterizations, then you have to acknowledge them in your publications. So just you need to write about the acknowledgement that you acknowledge them for the support and this. So it is recommended that one should have this thing about the funding. So if you have received some funding from your college, or you have received some funding from industry or some funding agency, so you need to declare about the source and that you have carried out the work by the funding. Then conflict of interest, you have to declare if there is any conflict associated with the work. Then most important is about the cover letter. So most of the journals, they ask you to upload a cover letter. So I would like to show about the format of the cover letter. It is a simple thing that you write to the editor while submitting your manuscript. So here we go. I'll show about the recent only. So here, this is the format of the cover letter. You can see general. You can write on your own as well. It's not compulsory that you may follow this, but you can mention about reference. You can talk about date. It is better if you communicate your article to the journal on your official letterhead. So here the communication is done on the official letterhead. You can see this is the editor, and we have written about the submission of the manuscript. Okay. And then we have written about the communication about the title of the manuscript and what are the highlights that we are presenting in our work in one small paragraph, and then requesting them to consider this for reviewing the manuscript and considering it for the publications with their valuable suggestions. And then you can close. So this is the small cover letter that you can prepare. Okay. So you can go through such thing and you can prepare your cover letter as you want. Okay. Now where to publish? Now you have written the manuscript, you have written the cover letter, you have written the author's contribution, everything is done. Now it came to the publication stage. So that time again, you have to select a proper journal for your publication. Now, this is also sometimes a question before us that which journal we should target. Okay, so that thing is generally comes into the mind. So before we communicate to any journal, few things we need to see. With example, I will show you. Now, this is the one journal's web page, Journal of Physics Condensed Matter. This is the journal web page. Now, what we have to see while communicating the manuscript? One thing is about the impact factor. This journal is having impact factor of 2.33. So we are best judges of we can best judge our work, whether our work deserves this much or not. We can best judge. If our work deserves, we can communicate. Now, one more thing about the impact factor. Impact factor not always dictate the quality of the journal, because sometimes what happens, there are really very good articles and very nice work has been carried out by the people, but it doesn't get citations. It doesn't catch many attention of many researcher, and it doesn't get higher citations. Why? Because there are very less people working in that field. Sometimes a good work also doesn't get cited. So impact factor really does not matter much. You can see, you can try for good impact factor. Also, impact factor is sometimes advantageous. If we published in good impact factor journal, we get higher points sometimes in API, and it is also considered we have higher probability of getting more citations. Another important thing is that we have to see about the first decision time. This is very important. When we submit our manuscript, how many days the journal takes to give the first decision? Sometimes what happens, some people communicate their paper, they wait for 3 months, 4 months, sometimes for 6 months as well, but still they don't get the first decision. For PhD scholars, sometimes those who have come towards the end of their completion of their period, around like 4 years or 5 years, something like that, for them it becomes very difficult to wait for very long for getting the decision on the manuscript and getting it published sometimes. So one has to see about the journal, one has to see about the kind of time frame that he is looking for the publication. So sometimes it is a trade-off, sometimes that we have to sometimes compromise with the impact factor and other things, and we have to see about the decision time also. Some journals are really good, but they take around like 120 days for the first decision. That is the 4 months. So we have to see that whether we can wait for that long, then we can go for those journal. Or suppose now this journal is giving its first response. This is IOP Science Journal. Is giving in 3 days the first decision. Okay, this is the medium time of submission to the first decision after peer review. So sometimes some journal after peer review means once your manuscript goes under review, after that you receive your comments about your manuscript, or maybe your manuscript is accepted or rejected, the decision. Sometimes, so we have to see about the first decision time also post review. So that is 38 days for this journal. So one has to look about these time frames as well. while communicating their work to the journal. This is one thing that one has to see. In addition to that, the most important thing that I haven't mentioned, that is about the scope of the journal. So when you go to about the journal here, most of the journal have the similar websites and similar format. So every journal talks about the scope of the journal. So here you see this talk about the scope of the journal. So you need to read the scope of the journal very carefully before communicating your manuscript. If your manuscript or if your work is lying in the scope of the journal, then and only then they can consider about your work. Okay, if that is not lying in their scope, then they would not be able to consider. So sometimes outrightly the manuscripts get rejected, stating that the work does not fit in the scope of the journal. So sometimes what happens that we have not gone through the scope of the journal properly. When we go to the scope of the journal in detail, we understand that whether our work is falling in this particular scope or not. So they discuss in detail what are the different fields that they consider for publication in that journal. Okay, so we have to see for this thing. Another thing is that about the indexing. Here, abstracting and indexing. This is very important. Whether the journal is indexed in the Scopus, whether the journal is indexed in the Web of Science, whether the journal is indexed in UGC list or not. So that is an important thing. So I'll be talking how one can go. First thing is that you can check on the website of the journal. But there is another authenticate way rather than this. Sometimes what happens is that the coverage, sometimes some journal is listed in the Scopus for suppose till year 2018, and currently it is not listed in the Scopus, then you can get misguided. So that's why we need to, I will be showing you some portals where you can check whether the journal is listed in the Scopus, in UGC list, UGC care list or not. So that thing I'll be showing, but one has to see for abstracting and indexing as well while communicating the work. Now, another thing is that when we, before communicating our paper to the journal, we can download just accepted manuscript. We can download some of the published manuscript of that particular journal to understand and judge the quality of our work. That when we download 3, 4, 5 papers and when we just go through it, we come to know that yes, our work is better than this, or our work is lying in this particular range. If our work is better, then we should approach to some better journal than that. If we feel that our work is lying in similar kind of level, then we can put our work in that journal. If we feel that our work is not lying in, is not up to that journal, then we can try some other journal. Okay, it is so we are best judged to for our work. We can judge our work very easily. Now about the indexing and all. Now about the indexing, important thing is that all Scopus index journals are UGC listed. So those journals are listed in the Scopus, they are in the UGC care list. So one can, while communicating, so I'm just opening this website. This is a very important website that one should see that. So this is the master journal list, Web of Science group. So all journals which are actually indexed in the Scopus, that will appear here, and by default they are in the UGC care list. So UGC care list directly states that all Scopus index journal are UGC listed. So you need not hesitate to communicate your journal to the Scopus index journals. Now, whether to check the journal is there in the list or not, we can go ahead and go through this website. Okay. Now, suppose if I want to check about the my recent communication that is related to suppose diamond and related material. You can type the name of the journal and you can hit enter. So you see that diamond and related material has came. This is Publisher is elsewhere BV, and it is indexed in Science Citation Index Expanded. So SCI index journals are generally considered to be having higher weightage. When you write down your proposals to the DST, SERB, DBT and all, they ask you to write only SCI index journals. Because nowadays funding agencies are interested when, if you want to fetch the funds, they ask you to write down only your publications in SCI index journals. So they ask you to write the details about your top 5 publications in SCI index journal. So they see your top 5 publications in SCI index journals only. So SCI and SCI expanded, these are the things they consider. So it is advisable to publish in SCI index journal for the science people mainly. For the science people, it is advisable to go for SCI and SCI expanded journals. Along with the Scopus, this is already indexed in Scopus, but in addition, it is indexed in SCI. So this is about the core things. So one need to see about this. So similarly, you can carry out the search about the other journal. You can see. So some other journals are new. So you see that they are emerging sources citation index. So different indexes you can see, and then you can consider. But those journal who are in this Web of Science core group, they are all UGC listed and Scopus indexed. So you can follow this particular list, and this is live updated by the Clarivate Analytics. So you can make use of this. Another thing about the UGC care list, which is managed by the Pune University. You can go through, I will show you the checking of the journals in the UGC care list. So this is the UGC care list of the journals. You need to first of all create a login by registering yourself, and then you can search about the journals. Okay, that whether that journal is indexed in whether that journal is there in the list, UGC list or not. So that can be checked by logging into this portal. I have provided the link. You can go through that, and you can check it online as well. So this is important that to check whether the journal is indexed or not, whether that is there in UGC list or not. So now the thing, what happens about the newer journal? Now there are publishers like American Chemical Society, then we have American Physical Society, then we have Springer Nature, then we have IOP Science, so then Taylor and Francis, MDPI. So these publishers are big enough, like elsewhere as well. So what happens, sometimes they start a new journal. So that time publishing your article in that new journal is quite easier, but that journal is not in the immediately is not in any indices. Those journals that time are not indexed. But soon, if you see that downline 8 to 9 months or an year period, those journals get indexed in the Scopus as well as the Emerging Sources Citation Index and SCI as well later on. So one can see, it is everybody's choice. One can take a call about publishing that or not, because American Chemical Society is something, it's a very premium society. Okay, so their every journal is indexed in SCI. So what happens is that initially when they start, it is not indexed, but after down the line in a year, if you can wait, you can publish there as well. So they are good actually. Now another thing is about, sometimes the paper, the journal name is Proceedings. Okay, but like not always, when we say about the proceedings, they are not always conference proceedings. Now if we consider the proceedings of National Academy of Sciences, PNAS, I would just like to show you here. PNAS is the proceedings of National Academy of Sciences. Now you can see that it is highly reputed journal having impact factor of 9.412. So though the name suggests it is proceedings, but they are not actually the proceedings. They publish full-length journal articles. So we just not supposed to go on the name of the journal. We have to go onto the website of the journal, and we have to understand what that journal has it. Okay, so that is there. Another important thing is about the handling the revision and resubmission of the manuscript. So when you receive your review of your manuscript, they give you the suggestions that you have to, they give you comments, you have to address them meticulously. So see, what my experience is about that. When my paper goes under review, there is a high likely probability, around 85 to 90%, that we publish in that journal because we handle the queries very nicely. So I would like to show you how do we do. You can, it's not compulsory that you should do in the same way. You can try your own way as well. Now here you see, we give point by point response to the reviewers. Now here you see that how, like, what the query raised by the reviewer, answer to the reviewer, okay, and changes which we have made in our lines in the manuscript that we have mentioned in detail. Now another second query answer, third query answer, like each query we have addressed. Now, so all these things is about the comments of the reviewer one. Then this is about the reviewer two. We have addressed the all comments of the reviewer two. And after addressing the comments, we have to give this point by point response also. We have to upload along with the resubmission. In addition to that, if we make these changes like this in the form of manuscript, if you see that on the manuscript, sorry, yeah, whatever. Yeah. If you see here, I have shown deletion and addition. So these are the things I have deleted and this is the thing I have added. So what changes I have done in the manuscript? Sometimes what happened, people just resubmit their manuscript without making more changes. And the reviewers are also not much interested in going reach every paragraph and everything in your manuscript. So if you submit your manuscript in such a fashion that you show your addition and deletion. So this is deleted, this is added. So this is modified, this is modified. Sometimes there is a common query or common suggestion given by the reviewers that you have to improve in your English language and all. So we have to show that how we have improved, what we have deleted, what we have added. So like this, if you see that, now you see that this entire paragraph I have deleted and these three lines I have added. So like such changes, if we show them this paragraph I have deleted, this I have added, so then they also understand that yes, the work has been meticulously carried out by the candidate. So they can consider this thing positively. So you can, and in addition to that, then you can submit three files. First file is your point by point response to the reviewers. Second file is the updated manuscript with marked changes, where I have now marked changes now. And another thing is updated manuscript without marked changes. So by reviewing this and making a fresh copy, so that is the manuscript without any of such marks and all, so that you can submit. So they can also see that lot of they can also see about the work and they can easily evaluate about whether the revision is done as per the requirement of the reviewer or not. So that is also one need to see about handling the revision. It is very important because most times you get an opportunity. See, when you get your, they tell you that your manuscript can be accepted if you address the following issues or following queries. So if you are not able to, you know, address the issues or in the reviews, then manuscript may get rejected. So we have to be careful in handling the revision. Just a second. Yeah, there was one more. Yeah, here. This slide remained actually. So about the similarity and plagiarism check. So what happens is that there are the journals. So if when you are going for the higher impact factor journals, generally impact factor above 3 and so, they do check for they do, first of all, before scrutinizing your manuscript, before editor taking that your manuscript in hand, your manuscript undergoes a similarity check. If they found that the similarity in your paper is more than 5%, your manuscript is outrightly gets rejected. So one should be careful that about the similarity in the paper. So same thing should not be reproduced as it is. So one should be careful that for that. So how you can check the similarity of your manuscript? You can use the any of the three this platform similarity or plagiarism check softwares. So one is Turnitin. This is most of the journals and editors, they do follow Turnitin. Then we have Authenticate. This is also one of the very popular tool which is used by the most of the journals and publishing house. And then another one is Urkun. So you can use any of the particular resources to, before communication of the manuscript, you can check the similarity of the manuscript so that you get an opportunity to recorrect your manuscript. If there is a lot of similarity, you can recorrect there. You can make an omission, you can have a deletion of some part, you can add some part, you can rephrase certain sentences and so on. So this similarity checking softwares, this is about the Turnitin. I will show the website here. You can subscribe to Turnitin actually. As an institute as well, one can subscribe or one can individually also subscribe to this and can do. Another is about the Urkun. So this is about the Urkun. Urkun access, I have the access. So I will show you. This is how the Urkun look like. Okay. So I have checked a lot of PhD thesis and this thing for similarity check. So one can go ahead and check it. This is not very difficult to use the software. And another is Authenticate. So as per your budget and as per your requirement, you can go for any of the software. Okay. So I think this is all something that I would like to discuss. And thank you so much and all the best for your future journey of research. So I would be happy to answer the questions and discuss more. Yes.
Yes, from audience, if anybody has question, you may please ask.
In the audience, have any questions? No, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It's a very excellent session and it's informative and useful information to us and our staff, students, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Now may I request for vote of thanks, Professor Dr. Arjun Bhagwat, sir, Head of the Department of Commerce. Arjun Bhagwat, sir.
Thank you, madam. Hello, everyone. I am Arjun Bhagwat, Head and Faculty in charge of Department of Commerce. I am here to extend the vote of thanks for first day of 5 days online workshop on research methodology. First of all, I would like to extend my deep sense of gratitude to today's resource person, Honorable Dr. Shamal Chinake, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronic Science, Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune, for enlightening and sharing the valuable knowledge about how to prepare and publish research paper. With us, sir. Sir has discussed and shared the valuable knowledge about identification of problem, literature survey, then gathering resources and carry out research, then preparing manuscript and formatting, then where to publish research paper, and last, handling revision and resubmission. Respected sir, your valuable guidance on how to prepare and publish research paper will definitely fruitful and beneficial to our participants and students. Sir, on behalf of our parent institute and our college, also all the participants, I heartily thank you. Thank you so much. I'm also thankful to Honorable Principal Dr. Chandrakant Khilare Sahib for making timely inaugural remark on this particular online workshop on research methodology and guide us as well as motivate us to organize this wonderful online workshop on research methodology. I'm also thankful to our Vice Principal, Dr. Mahadev Jare sir, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. ML Dongre sir, all head of the departments, all faculty members, technical and administrative staff of our college for support to organize this online workshop. And last but not least, I am also thankful to all the participants and students who attend this online workshop very rigorous and carefully. Lastly, thank you. Thank you so much, one and all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Khilare sir and Kakade sir, Dongre sir, and other Sawant madam and other teaching staff member, as well as the participants who joined the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.